because you're way cooler than me. Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah and I make videos about health and fitness and all of those fantastic things in endurance sports. So if that's something that you're into, maybe you want to go down there and hit that fancy subscribe button. And for those of you who did already hit the subscribe button, well, I very much appreciate it because you're way cooler than me. And I think that makes me de facto cool. Just let me lie to myself. Listen, we have an entire economy built on people who lie to themselves. Just let me have this, okay? Let's get to the video anyway. But today we are covering the fourth and final installment in the How to Level Up Fast with Route Badges on Zwift. If you haven't caught the first one, I will link it up here. You can check out how the route badges work and go through Watopia. But we're just going to finish things off today with the newest and final three worlds in the game: Yorkshire, Paris, and France. Myself, my favorite of the three is going to be Yorkshire, but let me know what your favorite is in the comments below. But we'll jump right in, we'll take a look at what we have, give you a little insight in what you can expect, and then we'll close things off. So starting out with Yorkshire, this is a favorite world of mine. It's just a punchy little world. It's not super big, but it's just an opportunity to get a good solid workout. A lot of people really like Yorkshire. It's very reflective of terrain that you might find locally. Just kind of short, punchy little climbs with some nice fast descents and some flats to get yourself built up to speed and to get yourself recovered. It's just a great little course to explore. It's taken from the 2019 Worlds at Harrogate course. So we'll go through and show you what we have here. So starting logically with the 2019 Harrogate course here, this is going to take you through all of the worlds of Yorkshire. You can see it's not that large. You have a kind of a flatter loop in the beginning and then takes you out through the countryside area with a little bit of punchy climbing there, 13.8 kilometers or 8.6 miles, 240 meters of elevation or 787 feet, and your lead-in is a paltry tenth of a kilometer or less than a tenth of a mile, and that one will earn you 270 experience points. Next up, we have Duchy Estate. This is going to take you around the flatter, fast portion of the course. This is probably a good solid area to get a nice little flat race in your legs. It's a very short little course, 3 kilometers or 1.9 miles, 37 meters of elevation or 121 feet. Your lead-in is 1.7 kilometers or 1.1 miles, and this is just going to be a quick little 60 experience points. Next up is the Queen's Highway, just Duchy Estate in reverse, 3 kilometers or 1.9 miles, 37 meters of elevation or 121 feet. Your lead-in is 2.8 kilometers or 1.7 miles, and again, 60 experience points. Here we have Royal Pump Room 8. This is just the Harrogate Worlds course, but it takes you into a looping pattern so that you do the course both forward and reverse. So it's a little bit longer, gives you more of an opportunity to get more experience points. It's 27.7 kilometers or 17.2 miles, 480 meters of elevation or 1,575 feet. Your lead-in is a tenth of a kilometer or less than a tenth of a mile, and this is going to earn you 550 experience points. A tour of Tuitwell is going to take you more towards the hillier, punchier portion of the course. You can see that it bypasses the flat portion. It's 10.4 kilometers or 6.5 miles, 200 meters of elevation or 656 feet, and you have no lead-in on this course, and it will earn you a total of 210 experience points. Our next world is Paris. We couldn't possibly have added France to the list of worlds without including the iconic Champs-Élysées that we all enjoy watching at the end of the Tour de France, and why wouldn't we want to ride that on Zwift? First course is obviously the Champs-Élysées. This is just the typical orientation or directionality of the Champs course, 6.6 kilometers or 4.1 miles, 34 meters of elevation or 112 feet. Your lead-in is 3.2 kilometers or 2.0 miles, and you're going to earn a total of 130 experience points. The other course in Paris is obviously Champs in reverse. It's called Lutèce Express. It's 6.6 kilometers or 4.1 miles, 33 meters of elevation or 108 feet. Slightly different lead-in at 3.5 kilometers or 2.2 miles, and again 130 experience points. Moving on to France, which with Paris is the most recent addition to the Zwift world, and this is a world I have some high hopes for. I'm hoping Zwift does a lot more to develop the France world, given how iconic it is to cycling. Right now, I personally find it to be a little bit limited. You'll find these courses mostly to be just repeated forward and reverse orientations of the same course, mostly focused on the countryside, the chalet area, and a little bit by the seaside, and then of course Ventop. But I really hope that they add a lot more courses to this world going forward. The first course in France is Casse-Pot. This is going to take you around the perimeter of at least the current bounds of France as it stands right now. It's going to take you mostly through the countryside and the flatlands here, and then you are going to kind of finish up over the top of the hilly KOM, which is not terribly steep, a little bit steeper and a little bit longer than hilly KOM in Watopia, but really a very manageable climb. 23 kilometers or 14.3 miles, 145 meters of elevation or 476 feet. Your lead-in is less than a kilometer or 0.6 of a mile and is going to be 460 experience points on this one. Second course up is Douce France. This is going to basically bypass the hilly KOM for you and take you mostly over the flat portion of the countryside here. 24.1 kilometers or 15 miles, 108 meters of elevation or 354 feet. Your lead-in is non-existent here, and you are going to earn a total of 480 experience points. Next up, we have Petite Boucle. This is going to take you over all of the standard roads in France with the exception of Ventop, and it's going to take you around in both directions. So this is going to be the longest course with the biggest earnings in France. 61 kilometers or 37.9 miles, 430 meters of elevation or 1,411 feet, and your lead-in is 1 kilometer or 0.6 of a mile, and this one will earn you 1,200 experience points. Next up, we have RGV. This is just Douce France in reverse, so mostly that flat portion of the countryside, 24.1 kilometers or 15 miles, 107 meters of elevation or 461 feet. Your lead-in is 3.1 kilometers or 1.9 miles, and this will earn you a total of 480 experience points. Next up, we have Roule Ma Poule. This is going to be basically Casse-Pot in reverse, so running on a theme here, 23 kilometers or 14.3 miles, 145 meters of elevation or 476 feet. Your lead-in is 3.1 kilometers or 1.9 miles, and this will earn you a total of 460 experience points. Next up is Tire-Bouchon. This is basically going to be Petite Boucle in reverse, a little bit different orientation of the climbs, but basically the same course, 61 kilometers or 37.9 miles, 431 meters of elevation or 1,414 feet. Your lead-in is 3.1 kilometers or 1.9 miles, and this will earn you 1,220 experience points. And last but most certainly not least is Ventop, the most iconic course in the France world as it stands right now, copied from Mont Ventoux, so you can climb like the pros, but my personal opinion is this is just a little bit anticlimactic. It's a grind. It's not super challenging of a climb. It's hard because it's longer, it's a lot of elevation. I'm not saying that it's an easy climb, but I think it's more grating mentally than it is physically. I think the Alp, if you made the Alp 3 miles longer, it would be easier to do mentally than Ventop because this just green grass and just no switchbacks really to focus on or break up the climb. It's a tougher climb to get through mentally. It's boring, but it's 20.9 kilometers or 13 miles, 1,534 meters of elevation or 5,033 feet. You have no lead-in here, so very efficient, and this is only going to earn you 420 experience points. I'm really hoping they start to add in a few more incentives for people to do this course because I don't really see very many people who aren't pure climbers that really just love to climb doing this course more than the first time it takes to get the route badge. But let me know what you think about Ventop. I thought it was a perfectly fine challenge, but I was bored as hell. So that's going to wrap up all of the worlds and courses that are at least currently on Zwift, but here's hoping Zwift adds new worlds and or courses in the not too distant future, especially to a world like France. As I mentioned, there's just so much potential there. It has such a steeped history in terms of cycling as a sport, so many untapped routes. They could certainly add a ton to that world in particular, but if you've been on Zwift for any period of time, you're not holding your breath for that, and neither am I, but here's hoping, right? But hopefully you guys have gotten some value and some insights out of these videos as to what to expect out of some of these courses. What I'm going to do to help people out is I'm going to leave an Excel file down below. It's going to be a Google Drive link, no paywalls, it's going to be publicly accessible, and it's just going to be a very simple Excel file that has all of the route badge names, all of the distances, all of the elevation gain. It actually has a column for what world it's in, and then all of the experience points, and it's set up like a table so that you can filter and sort by whatever you want. You can just kind of filter out Watopia, or you can sort by experience points, whatever you want to do. If you want to add a column for completion, it's something that you could easily store on your cell phone or on your computer to keep track of maybe your route badge campaign. It's a little easier than going in the menu and making sure that you know what route badges you have left, or using kind of some third-party software or website. Sometimes it's just really easy to keep something simple on a device. So I'm going to leave that down below. It might be helpful for a lot of you guys for some kind of local tracking in terms of your route badges. The other thing I want to mention is that if you're watching this video in January of 2021, we have just started the Tour de Zwift. It is a 40-day long campaign with 8 different rides and a ton of different unlocks as far as my understanding goes. They've been a little close-lipped about it, but it's going to have a lot of cool unlocks for you guys to strive for. And there's so many different rides available, different distances and different worlds available, so you guys get a lot of variety. I hope that you guys will join this. It's a great way to kind of ride with groups, get those miles in, keep yourself motivated to stay on the bike. So you can check that out on the companion app and sign up for those events. I'll also leave the link down below to sign up for the actual campaign itself. You can also do that right from the Zwift menu. It's right on the main screen. It just tells you to register for the Tour de Zwift so that you get all the credit and all the unlocks and all of that fun stuff. So I'll leave that stuff down below. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to help you guys out more down there. If you have asked me questions or left me comments and I haven't responded to you, please don't take it personally. I'm doing my best to dig out all of the comments. Unfortunately, the notification system on the YouTube app is not always the best. I don't get all the comments sometimes, and I'm trying to respond from my phone when I have a few free minutes between work and other responsibilities. So sometimes I have to get home and go through the back end of Zwift to find the comments I haven't responded to. And even then, sometimes they just don't show up. So if I haven't answered your question, please don't take it personally. Ask again down below. I'm doing the best I can to help a lot of you who are newer to Zwift. And if you guys can help each other out down in the comments below, that's a great way to build the community as well. I see a lot of more experienced Zwifters helping others down in the comments, and I really appreciate that. But if you have gotten any value out of this or any of my videos, if you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button, it really is helping out the videos and the channel quite a bit. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. See ya.